Someone said, "Oh, is this your seminar?" I said, "No, this is our meeting, and that is what it's all about." Okay. So since it's ours, the only thing that we could do is really to see what we have to say. And so what we do is we bring forth our subconscious minds and we unite them. We unite them. And we make it one. So I'm going to ask you to uncross anything. Close your eyes and find that comfortable place for you. And wherever you are in the world that you're watching this, if you're just waking up in London or Beijing, relax. Relax into your moment. Everything's fine. And we're going to take a deep breath. And as we breathe in all the positive cosmic energy of the universe. And we ask for strength, protection, and guidance. And exhale slowly. Feel it in your heart. As we breathe in, again, we breathe in all the positive cosmic energy of the universe. And we ask for strength, protection, and guidance. And as we breathe in all the positive cosmic energy of the universe, and we ask for strength, protection, and guidance. And the last time, as we breathe in all the positive cosmic energy of the universe, and we ask that all of our subconscious minds recognize the infinite each and every one of our universes as we blend together into the oneness that always was and always will be, and we receive our message from us. We come back into the present. And so this is what life is about. We have been waiting for this. We've been waiting to find out, what is this life all about? People are asking themselves or others like me and you. I'm not really sure what I'm here for. I'm not sure what the plan is. What God's plan is for me. I know there must be a plan. I'm not capable of creating one. Who am I? But the infinite. The infinite, who are you but the infinite? You are everything. You are the Alpha and the Omega. You are all the songs that have ever been sung. And you're all the colors that will ever be experienced. You're all the goodness that good has to offer. So who are you? You're the infinite. And now it's time for you to recognize yourself. I want to share something with you that you are asking through your subconscious mind. And so it comes through my tongue to begin with, and then later as we go through this process, I'm going to ask to hear your side of the story. What is that? It's about creating less effort. See, you're creating right now. So since you're creating right now, I'm asking you, why not create with less effort? Somewhere along the line, the wiring got crossed, and we thought we had to make it difficult in order to be alive. What a lie that we give to ourselves on a regular basis. We declare it. How you doing? Under a lot of stress. Oh, really? Yeah. Well, why are you bragging about it? Why are you declaring it? Go in the bathroom. Turn on the fan. Flush the toilet so nobody else hears you. Because this is a private moment. You don't want to declare that out in public. You want to declare only your greatness. Because what you're declaring is exactly what it is. I mean, it goes back Siddhartha Gautama said back in whatever 564, right? He said, your life is what you think about. And goes through all the philosophers, even before that in the Greek philosophers. It goes on and on. We hear this. We know this. We can quote it. We can write about it. We can profess it. We're experts. Every single one of you in this room, and many of you that are watching this, wherever you are an expert on this. You are much more of an expert than I am on the subject. But you are still declaring the wrong thing. You're still putting too much effort in the wrong place. In the wrong place. And why is it the wrong place? Because the wrong place is anything that is not producing what you want, that is not creating what you want. Now, if you're just tuning in for the first time, let me catch you up with the rest of us. You did not turn on your computer and you did not come into this place this evening and then I ask you to close your eyes, now open your eyes, and you go, oh my goodness, there's a computer in front of me and I'm here in my house or you're here in this room. Oh, isn't this amazing? We're all together. Wow, this is God's plan. It's got to be, right? God had a plan. And then we can make it a little bit more personal and say, well, what if it was like we reincarnated and in heaven like thousands of years ago we said we'll meet back here on this date? What? Oh, thousands of years ago. As long as you don't bring it into present time, everything's fine. It's when we get into present time and we have to declare our power. That's where we start having a little bit of uncomfortableness that sets in. For one, we say, wait a second, if I created all of this, things are a little crazy right now. Can I blame it on the devil at least? Well, you can blame it on whatever you want, or you can give credit to whoever you want. But that is not going to change the tomorrow's creation that you're doing. If you want to change the tomorrow's creation, you have just better stop for a second here and feel this. Just feel this. Close your eyes again for me for just a moment. Close your eyes. Find that most serene place in your imagination, that whatever you call that serene place, and you all have one. And look around that serene place and feel that serene place and feel what you're feeling there. Now go deeper into your heart. Feel that. That is what life is. When you go away from that feeling, what you're feeling right now, you are in an aberrated state. You're in a distorted state. You are in a state other than life. You can retain that feeling. There's no need to produce any type of a different existence other than that. Take a deep breath and rejoin me. You see, all your worries and all your fears and all your stressors that you have created, yes, you have created them, in some way, shape, or form, you have either contributed to them, I'm getting too excited here, contributed to them, or you have full responsibility of creating 100% of it. But at least somehow you contributed to it. So that means you created it. Just like you created your portion of this meeting this evening. I didn't come and get you. You did that part. And so I'm going to ask you then, if this is the case, then if you could have that feeling of real life, of that peace, of that serenity, then why? Oh, I know why. Because you have bills. Bills. That's why you have bills, and you want to be a responsible person with your bills, right? You have other pangs, like loneliness. That's a good reason. Ill health is always a really good cop-out. I have ill health, and I'm in pain. Yes? So your body is in pain, and your body is ill, but you're fine. See, again, it's more effort to create that. Think about this. It's more effort to stay in that stressful situation because that's a fire. And you have to keep on feeding that fire. If you don't feed the fire, it does what a fire does. It dwindles down. And as it goes into the embers and into nothingness, then a lot of times we are like, who am I? I don't recognize this. I don't have any in my life. And so we go around, how can I create one? Maybe I'll start an argument with you. Maybe I'll rip you off. Maybe I'll say that you did something wrong to me and manipulate the whole situation so it makes it look exactly that's what it was. Now I'm back into that. With effort, I have created total contraction and chaos. Total contraction and chaos. I call it contraction. Why? Because when we are in life, life is made to expand. Life is made to create. That's the only reason why we're here, is to create. It's a big lie that you're not worthy to create. You've done a good job up to this point in time. Whether it be good or bad, you've done a good job. Now I'm just asking you to have some clarity around your intention, your predetermination of what you're going to create next. More of this? Or is it time to change the song that you're singing? I like it when people ask me how I'm doing, and I ask you, how are you doing? And you say,
life is perfect and getting better.
Yeah, life is perfect. Life is actually perfect, and it's getting better because, see, the perfection goes like this. You plant the seed and it expands. We come into this world and we expand. And when we contract, once again, you're going against the grain of all life. You're going against the rule, the law, whatever you want to call it. The love, that's always comfortable. But isn't it funny? We call it that in this language. Wherever your language is from, you may be calling it something completely different that we don't even understand in our language. And in the universe, it's called something that none of us would understand if it was from an alien or someone from another place or whatever. But one thing that everyone understands, universally, no matter where you're at in this dimension and maybe others, is that life, or whatever we refer to it as, is just expansion, and that gives us all those other good things with it. Happiness and love. Freedom. We like that part. But you can't have that part, that freedom that we were talking about last week, where the soul, that's the desire of the soul, is to be free. That's why vacations are so good, right? We feel a little bit of freedom for a week or two. But no, you could have that any time. A vacation is nothing more than an attitude. It's not really time away from your vocation. It's just an attitude that you're away from it. And so what your attitude is that you are putting this effort forth to say, you know what? I'm worried. Really? Yeah. This is 2012. The world's ending. My world's ending. Probably day after tomorrow. What if you just, what if you just released it? What if you just released it? If you just said, you know what? Yeah, I got a lot of stuff going on. A lot of stuff. Impossibilities as far as solutions go to my stuff. I know it's going to fall apart. But you know what? I'm just going to adopt a little bit of an attitude here. And that is, I will go through with do it now. One of my signature phrases, do it now, whatever it is that needs to be done, just go ahead and do what you can with what you have. It might only be 1, 2, or 3 things. Get those off your plate. And then the rest of it, who cares? Who cares? Really, what if you had? Who cares? But I might get fired. I might be on the street. Who cares? And the truth of the matter is, it doesn't go that way. I know that working with literally tens and tens of thousands of clients, one-on-one clients over the years, one of the greatest fears that people have is, I might end up on the street. Well, I've lived on the street for many years when I was a child. So I asked them, well, have you ever lived on the street before? No, but I'm afraid. I said, don't worry about it. You wouldn't survive. So there's nothing to worry about. Nothing to worry about. So see what I'm saying? And that's exactly how it is. We are, with effort, we start to paint these pictures. And we're all really good artists in our minds, right? As a matter of fact, that's how we communicate. We speak, and then you paint the picture of what I'm saying. And then I speak again, and you're painting pictures. Well, same thing when you're speaking to yourself. You think, and then you paint a picture. The only thing is that you have a tendency to paint your conversation usually to be pretty scary, pretty stressful, pretty ugly. But you're still the artist. And that's why people tune in on Tuesday nights now. Because it's easier to paint a nicer picture with what I am sharing through you and all of you than it is to just have a conversation with yourself. And that conversation is, you know what? It's always okay. Now, if you are up to 15 years old, you think life is pretty free, right? It just goes really well. Things go pretty well. Little argument here and there, friends, little parent thing here and there, maybe a little sibling thing, but pretty well. Because after all, you sit down at the table, for most people, sit down at the table, there's your food, you don't think about your clothes, it's like it's time to go school shopping, whatever, right? You don't think about those things. You don't know about the gas bill or anything like that. But at 15, we go through a transition in life. We start to discover a thing called problems. And as adults, we call them real problems. Right? Because a little child might say, I have a problem, I can't get my Legos together. But we say a real problem, that's not a real problem. A real problem is when you get down there and you feel it right in your gut. When you're feeling that fear down here, that's a real problem, son. But that's not a real problem. That's just what you're maturating to. So if it's at 15, you go through that transition of saying, wow, life is filled with problems. You can just go through the progression, skipping over all that, and you can see what happens by the time you're 30, 35. Life is really nothing but a problem. Right? That's all it is. It's just one giant problem. It sort of goes continual, and sometimes it overlaps, and most of the time it's overlapping. It doesn't really have to go that way, though. It's just what we're deciding it to be, because to tell you the truth, by the time that you get to about 25, you can actually have a moment of honesty with yourself. And that moment of honesty is, I'm 25 years old, been through a lot of stuff already, because that's a quarter of a century. Been through a lot of stuff already, and I made it. I made it. There were times I didn't think I was going to make it. Whatever that was. All of you have your own horror stories in there, right? Didn't think I'd make it out of the car, make it out of the house, make it out of the what, right? Didn't think I'd make it, but you made it. Well, the good part is that as the years go by and you continue to mature chronologically, that it makes it easier for you. Not harder, easier. Again, an upside down world. The easier thing is, by the time that you're 35, 45, you're like, I made it through so much and I always made it. There were times I couldn't even take the next breath. I made it. I took the next breath and I made it. You know what I'm saying? If you know what I'm saying, say yes.
Yes.
Yes. Yes. We're all been there. Some of us are going through this today. Some of us are going through this moment. And then we go through the decision-making process, and the decision-making process is really important. The decision-making process is actually designed within our structure as an entity to free us, not to entrap us more. But we begin to make decisions to entrap us more. Such as, what if I did just say, you know what, I'm going to give it my best shot, do whatever I can right now, and that's it. I'm not going to worry about it. I'll just let it go. I'll let it go. Let's see how it goes. Hey, this is going to be interesting. Well, I'm going to look at it like if it's a movie. I can't wait to see the end of this. And I really am doing this. I do this all the time in my life. I do this all the time in my life. It doesn't mean that once you get this down that you don't have any more challenges. Oh no. Even though, hey, I'm really good at this life surfing, I still take a dump into the drink sometimes. And when I do, I start cracking up. I really do. I start cracking up. This happened to me last Friday. I was sharing it with some people at a seminar over the weekend. Last Friday was one of those days, I swear, I got up in the morning, and I was going through my bedroom. The lights were off. I didn't want to turn them on and wake my wife up. And all of a sudden, bam, I kicked something. It was my little 7-year-old Alexander. He was sleeping on the floor by my bed. I didn't know. And I kicked him in the head. Well, he woke up and he's crying, he's screaming. I said, oh my gosh, I felt terrible. Now the whole house is getting up, and I get up early now, okay? This is 3:30 in the morning. Okay, so 3:30 in the morning, I'm waking everybody up because of my thing. And I thought, okay, everyone settle down. Okay, sorry, turn the lights off, everyone. So we go on. I go downstairs, had my computer in one room, picked it up, and went to the other, dropped it. Oh, yeah, okay. Kept it going. I said, okay, time for that cup of coffee, right? So I go to hit the button on the coffee, and having a relatively new coffee maker, didn't expect this. Coffee everywhere, all over the kitchen, except for in the cup. I thought, oh my gosh, I needed that coffee. Now I needed the coffee. Now I needed even more to have the energy to clean up this job at 3:30 in the morning. And it kept on going the whole day, all day long, going through the whole day. By the end of the day, I was driving home from the office, and I just went, whoa. Whoa! You crazy guy, you! You crazy guy! Look at all those things, dozens of things today. Why did you do that to yourself? Why did you create that? Did you want to feel something there? Did you want to experience something? Were you trying to grow? What was that? I want to know. I didn't get all the answers. I had a little flash here and there, like, well, maybe you did that or whatever. Still don't understand why I kicked poor Alexander in the head. But the rest of the stuff, I really don't know on all the answers, but I can tell you this. I did it. There was no devil on my shoulder. There was no teleological plan in the universe for me. God did not have a plan set up for me that said, Michael, you will have a day in hell on, on March 30th, 2012. And I no. What would that be for? What would that do? What good would that do? Oh, so you could become a better person. Hey, God, lay off. I was a better person at 3:30, really. You know, I was fine at 3:30. You didn't need to give me any extra stuff there to make me a better person. I was like perfect right then. I was, you know. No, it was me. I did that. And in order to stop doing that, I had to stop. And I had to say, wait a second. I'm going to start looking at myself because I don't want Saturday to go that way. So I'm going to start looking at myself, interacting with different things, be more cautious maybe when I get out of bed in the morning. Wait closer by the coffee pot to make sure it's working, and all the rest of the stuff throughout the day. Just make it work. Make it work. And when it works, some people will say, thank you, God. And if that works for you, good. And what I will say is, thank you, God, for giving me this ability. Because that's what it is. you know, people are like, God's up there with like this giant mixer board, you know. It's like, hey, turn up the volume in Duckett's life over there. Turn it, hey, there's Karen, turn it way down there. Bad girl, Karen. Ooh, yeah. No, good girl, Karen. Yes. You're nothing but good. You're nothing but good. You're so good, you're bad. You're so bad, you're good. No, you know what I'm talking about. You know what I'm talking about. That doesn't make sense from a logical standpoint. What would that do? But what would work is, I am the Almighty and I expand. And everything, in order to expand me, will have me in it. When a building is erected, it's me. When a tree grows, it's me. When you look at someone in the eyes, it's me. And if it's me, it has to be you. Has to be. Because if it's me, I'm infinite. And infinite has no beginning and no end. And infinite actually has the ability to create whatever you want. It can create the chaos. It can do a really good job at that. If you've experienced it, you know what I'm talking about. Some hard times? Oh yeah. Aren't you good at that? Isn't God really good at creating that? Yeah. And you know, more practice at anything. You know, if I gave you a baseball bat and said start swinging, you might not hit anything at first, but after a while you're going to hit something. You get practice. And so it's the same thing with your life. If you are practicing the life of stress, practicing the life of fear, practicing the life of chaos, you get better and better at it. And soon, you're hitting home runs of that. You're hitting home runs. And of course, just like in any star in any type of a sporting event or show, you want accolades. So you start declaring to other people, I'm going through so much. And you want the recognition, like a star. Yeah, good, he's going through a lot. Yeah, go, yeah, you can do it. Why are we rooting them on? Because, hey, I might be there. And when I'm there, I want you to root me on, okay? Give me a hug. Give me a hug and dry my tears. What good would that do? I love that saying. Talking about Alexander, I guess, tonight. That was his saying. What good would that do? He taught me that. What good would that do, Dad? What good would it do, really? It doesn't do any good, right? And so if it doesn't do any good for me to give you comfort or pity in your misery, that is only going to actually empower you in that state. Instead, that's why you have to be careful hanging around with me, because I will bump you right into life. I will definitely. I will. I'm a lifeaholic. I will bump you right into life, and you will be living to your maximum. You'll be looking like this, like, oh, I don't know if I can, but I'm gonna try. No, I'm gonna do it, and you're doing it. And then all of a sudden you look back and you go, hey, remember when you were? Yeah, I remember a little bit of that, but I don't really remember me like that anymore. No, I don't really remember me like that anymore, but that is funny when I think back. Vaguely remember that person, the disempowered, contracting individual that always gave up all the blame over here and the shame over here and all the glory over there. But none of it is me. I'm not worthy. Why, I'm a sinner, saved by grace. Well, that's okay. If that's what you need, that's okay. Whatever you need is okay in this life. But what you don't need is to give it that way. What you do need is to give it this way, because when you're giving it this way, you become empowered. You have the ability to control it. If I say God's plan, I can't control his plan. That's a big dude. If I say it's the devil made me do it, hey, I don't have his magic and he's got a big fork. I'm not, I'm disempowered there, but I can tell you this. When I say I did it, I have total control over what's going to happen to me in this life, now, tomorrow, and forever. And when things go crazy, I will stop and I will laugh at myself because I know I'm doing it. I have to just figure it out, why I'm doing it, what I'm doing, how I need to change it. You know, when people have money challenges, they go, oh, I'm so devastated financially. I said, oh, were you born that way? You know, like your parents, you're at the hospital, they came in and they said, look, here's all these credit card debts and everything else, and here's a mortgage and a car payment. We're giving them to you as your birth present. No, come on now, you know what happened. You remember, you can trace it back. If you just get in a comfortable place, you can trace it back and filling out that credit card application. You remember sitting in the dealership. You remember begging the mortgage company to loan you too much money. You remember that. So is it really a big surprise? Oh, come on now. We're all friends. We're all family. We all love each other. We love the glory. And we love the Goffs. But the truth that you know is that you're okay. You're okay. You have survived and you always will survive. You have lived and you always will live. You will fall because you choose to. But overall, you always make it. The sun always comes up. Another day comes in. A new adventure begins. It may be quite a different adventure than what the day was before, but it's exactly the adventure that you have built to this point. And you build it upon your decisions. Do you mean upon your actions? Well, yes, but the actions follow that, right? You decided first, and then you went into action. Even if they were impulsive actions. You decided to be impulsive, and then just did things haphazardly. And so, when we do things haphazardly, we may end up with a haphazard life. And it's based upon disciplining. Now, people are like, well, okay, this sounds good. I really want to do this, and but you know, when tomorrow comes up, I'm feeling better tonight. Well, in some cases, I know Beijing, it's your morning, so you may feel better this morning. But then all of a sudden the day goes by. A few hours from now, you find yourself slowly sitting by yourself and feeling that little creepy crawler stuff coming back all into your life. Saying, but, right? We know what that is from the old high school days. And when you say but, that means you erase everything that was said before that. But I do have some big worries, and I should be concerned. Really? Did you do everything that you can? If not, then that's what you should be doing. Saying what's the 1, 2, or 3 things that you can do right now with what you have to work with, which might be nothing at all. But there's something that you can do. If you cannot figure out anything at all to do, I will give you first step number 1. Just stand up. Just stand up. Stand up. Just stand up. If you just stand up wherever you are, just stand up. And if you're standing up, that's step number 1. Good. Congratulations. See, you can figure out what to do first. You stand up, and then when we stand up, then we could all just take one step forward. And if we take one step forward, then we are making a progression toward expansion. And if we're making a progression towards expansion, now we're alive. Please have a seat for just a moment. This is life. This is life. We're lied to. We're lied to. We're lied to by different religious organizations. We're lied to by lending organizations. We're lied to by governments. Look how the media is magnifying all these lies. They'll tell you what the Pope is not saying and manipulating his words. They'll tell you what the banks are doing even before the banks are saying or even deciding on what they're going to do. So the media is actually magnifying all of this negativity. Now you have these institutions that I'm mentioning. They are lying to us. And the lie is, you borrowed the money. You better worry. You better stay up all night tonight worrying about it. You're doing wrong, and God knows that. You better get to church, give us some money, and beg for forgiveness because you're bad. You're really bad. You're not even worthy. Sit in the back of the church. Okay? And it goes on and on like that, right? The truth is that those are lies. Those are lies. Just like I'm no better than you and you're no better than me from the standpoint of importance, that all of this life is the same to you. And so when it's all of equal importance to you, that means that just like your credit card bill, it could be a bad thing. What if it's a good thing? What if you start to catch this, folks? Because I'm bringing you out of the cave. Some of you are going to get this and go, oh, and it's not about debt. Debt is just part of the furniture in that cave, okay? There's a lot of different pieces of furniture in there. But it's time to come out of there and come out into the light and into this whole world. And when you come out, you're going to be like, wow, and I thought that the whole world only existed of that cave. No, that's that scary little abyss called nothingness, called death, that you have been living up to this point in time because of the lies that have been told to you, that you are not worthy, and that you're supposed to be stressed, supposed to feel guilty, and if you're not, we'll give you something to feel guilty about. Right? They give you the mental spankings, the spiritual spankings. We don't need that. Come on now. We're way past that. This is 2012. Okay? We're not talking about 1012. We're not talking about the year 12. We're talking about 2012. We have different things nowadays than they did back in those thousands of years ago on the books and the teachings that we are still professing that they are the truth. You have the truth. You have more truth than those books. Abraham did not even have a flushing potty. You're better off than him. Can you imagine what you know in comparison? And they considered him a great, great man, and I consider him a great, great man too. But in today's standards, besides the history books, he doesn't really have a whole lot to say to me right now. You do, though, because you carry the word for today. You carry the solution for today, and that solution, peace. Peace. Now we look at the wars in the world, and having lost a child as a result of the Afghanistan war, and having another one there now, and all this, and we all know that when we bring up that subject, people are, oh, that war, that's terrible. Any war is terrible. 168 wars right now. They're all terrible as far as I'm concerned. But there's a worse war going on. And you can't stop one single one of those wars, no matter what you do. You can't stop them. No matter how much money you have, no matter how much power you have. President Obama is considered one of the most powerful men in the world. He can't stop one of those wars. The war that is most important to us. Those are important wars, but the war that's most important to us, how we stop those wars, is stop the war that's within yourself. Start to decide that you are going to put down your battle weapons, which are your negative thoughts, the thoughts that you just abuse yourself with. Put those down and start picking up and replacing them with peaceful, loving thoughts. Peaceful, loving thoughts. That's worth definitely saying again. Peaceful, full of peace, thoughts that are loving about your life. And when you do that, you shift. And as a creator, that's why it's important that you watch what you think about. Because this is our creating mechanism. And so if we are thinking in a battle zone of negativity, we're trying to win the war. And what's the war? The prize is more negativity. But if instead we say no more battle, and this was a big lesson for me, being an ex-pro fighter, I would always look at things as, I'm in the ring, I'm against the ropes. I would use these analogies in my head. I'm against the ropes, I'm not going down. One more swing, one more kick. I was a kickboxer, so one more kick, one more. I will not die. That really gave me a lot of fights to go through in life, over and over again. And it wasn't until I said, you know what? No, there is not a fight except for in my head. There's not a war except for in your head. Start with that war, and then let's do something about the other wars. Because who are you to say that's a bad war when I'm walking around with war, fear, bills, loneliness, ill health, rawr, I'm mad at you, yar, rawr, right? Who are you? Hypocrite? Well, since God is infinite and God comes through you, you're God. God's you. We're talking about an infinite amount of hypocrisy if you want it to be, or an infinite amount of peace. Let it go. You're okay. You really are okay. Those institutions I mentioned, they don't want you to know you're okay. They want you to come back. They want you to come back. They want you to run home and turn on Fox or CNN or whatever other source that you use for that type of a charge. They want you to come back and make your mortgage payment and stress about it all month long. They want you to come back and sit in the back of the church or the temple. They want you to come back. Myself, I don't really care if you come back to me. What I am concerned with, coming back to you. I like to say that that's a nice thing on my part, but it's greedy. I'm really being greedy. Because see, when you're coming back to you, you really are me and I really am you, and so is this wall, me and you. Every single thing is you and me. So when you're coming back to yourself, you're improving me. And that's when we start to see the wars drop off in the world, as we are starting to improve ourselves. Be concerned with this first. Take care of this. Get this in order. If you have this much life, this cracks me up when people say, I have this much life, but I want that much. Oh, really? Like what? Well, I have like this much money, but I want that much. I have this much love, I want that much. I have this much of a body, but I would like to have that kind of a body. Well, how are you doing with that? Well, I don't have it together. Well, who in the heck do you think you are to even ask for that much, let alone that much? Get this together first, then you get this together. This is the progression of life. Not my law, not God's law. This is the progression of life. Then you get this much, then you get that much. Take care of it. Got it together? Good. Now you get that much. And that's why when you look at people who have more, it's because they started with this and they took care of it. They were the proper God for that. And then they expanded. And when they do that, soon you're living with much more than what you ever even thought that you would want or desired. You have acquired much more than that. But it starts with letting it go. So if you do nothing else, you don't have to meditate and get all the emotions and all that on, I want to make a wish, I want to make a wish, I want to get my Maserati, I want to get my Maserati or whatever, I want to get that hunk of a girl, that hunk of a guy, I want to get this, no, you don't need to do that. See, that's effort. We're talking about with less effort tonight. The less effort is the power. It's the power of peace. There is power in peace when you become peaceful within yourself and say, you know what? Life is perfect. And it's getting better. It's getting better. It's already perfect. Right where you're at, it's perfect. All the chaos and everything else, perfect. Start to really feel that. I'm okay. Take a deep breath. If you could do that, you're okay. Just one deep breath. Even if you take a deep breath and you're coughing on the way out, you're okay. At least you got it in. It makes you cough. But no, it goes this way, folks, is that once you start to realize that, you know what? Whoever said that I had to worry about that? Whoever said that that's what is right? Whoever said that was right, they were wrong. They were wrong. They were wrong. What's right is just to realize you're okay. And you're going to be okay. As long as you're doing, now I'm not talking about complacency. I'm not advocating irresponsibility. I don't do that. So don't go home and crawl in your closet and get in a lotus position and start meditating and chanting. That's not going to do anything except cause more confusion, because you're logical. You're like, I do have some bills to pay, so I need to generate some of this energy. It's not real, but it's energy, money. So that's not going to really do a whole lot. So I'll do whatever I can once again. Those 1, 2, 3 steps, get those off. Get the next 1, 2, 3 steps off, and the next 1, 2, 3 steps off. Just do 1, 2, 3, 1, 2, 3. You don't have to do 100. You don't have to make a list of 100 things. I find people that make a list of 100 things, that's about what their life exists of, is just making a list. Okay, what they really need to do is just throw that stuff away and start making a things not to do list. The things not to do list is the most important list, and that's the list of things that you're doing, but they're not contributing to your peacefulness, to your expansiveness, to your awareness that you are one. Now, back in the 60s and 70s, it was really cool walking around, hey brother, hey sister. It goes more than that. Hey everything. Hey everything. I don't want to litter because that's me. That ground is me. That paper's me. I don't want to put me in an aberrated state on a piece of ground, so I don't litter. Everything is one. And when you start living that way, you walk around with awareness of the 3 magic words. Now this is going to be uncomfortable for you. I'll tell you ahead of time. For some of you. Some of you are like, hey, I've been living that. Cool. You know what I'm talking about then. I am. Remember when Moses with the burning bush, and he said, well, who do I say gave me this stuff? They're going to think that, I'm doing some type of LSD thing or whatever. No, that was years later. That was in the 60s. But anyway, they're going to say, who do I say? And he says, tell him I am sent you. I am. The 3 magic words. I am God. I am God. Like, whoa, I don't want that responsibility. Yeah, I understand. And that's why your life is messed up. If I go home and if I call my mother and tell her I am God, she's gonna send the priest over and start to exorcise me or something, okay? This is blasphemous, like with a capital B. Not really. It's just that she doesn't understand. So you don't want to start to tell people, and some of you on the internet might have shut the computer down already. But here's the thing, though, is that if you notice, even with your own attention, if it's something that is foreign to you, you have no reference for it, so you really should be shutting it off. You're like, oh, I don't like this. But instead, you're like, I'm not sure if I like it. I do like it. I'm not sure. I do. I do like it. I like it. I like it. I like it. You're not liking what I'm saying. You're liking what you're saying in your head that I'm saying that is matching. And now we're relating. And so you're liking the relationship that's being formed. And that's a beautiful thing. Because, see, that relationship is built on truth. Truth prevails. No matter what, truth will prevail. And so that's why it has taken thousands of years, and really millions of years if you go back to when we first started using fire and all that in the caves. I mean, but at least thousands, tens of thousands of years to get to this point of saying, you know what? I could see where I did contribute to that breakup, to that makeup of my life. I could see where I did contribute if I was really going to be honest with myself. It wasn't that I just woke up one morning in this situation. That I really did make this happen. Decided to move there, decided to go there and be there and all that. And when we start to do that, we say, hey, there is a truth to this, and that truth is what we're bringing out at this point in history. This is our historical moment. Now, can you imagine going back into other points in time, going back into the mid-19th century in the 1800s, and when Buhulaha was talking about his stuff, and other people started coming forth with their ideas, and that was totally against the Puritan ways. Some of these people were murdered. And then you go back even further than that, and each time in history, new ideas would come forth. But these new ideas were better than the old ideas. But they only were better because of the time. They fit the time better. They had different things going on. They had different, not necessarily in society only, but different things going on in the individual. I remember once reading notes from a famous person. He said, I don't know what we're going to do. These hallucinogenic herbs are at an all-time high, and they're affecting the young people. Robbery and rape is out of control. There's no way that we could enforce this type of behavior. There's more criminals now than ever. We don't have enough food, and all the politicians are completely corrupt. Signed, Augustus Caesar, year 1. So society is always going to have its challenges until they start to come into the realization of what we are speaking about today. And that realization is, there is no problem except for the problem that is inside of me. You do not have a problem unless you want to have a problem. I do not have a problem unless I want to have a problem. The wars only exist as long as I am contributing to them in my mind. That doesn't mean to put your head in the sand. It doesn't mean to live a life of denial. It's actually to live a life of choice. And that choice is, let's be at peace. Let's take a deep breath. And let's let it just all go. If you were to pull yourself out of your body at this time, and you were to fall, and your shell was to fall on the floor, and it was gone, and you're looking back, and you're looking down on that shell, and you go, that life. First of all, you would say, wow, a moment ago I had all those worries, and I really don't care at this point. Second is that you want to ask yourself, right then, what would you want to say? My life. I left my life as an imprint on that little planet, that little pebble, that little speck of dust in the universe, and that's all Earth is just a speck of dust. I left my imprint, though. I came back to create, and what did I create? What did you create? Did you create a life of peace and love? Did you contribute to others? Did you really get out there and love? Oh, I don't care if it's unconditional love or if it's conditional love. Just love. Just love. Do the refinements afterwards. Find the diamond first, and then worry about cutting it, polishing it. Get out there. Get out there. Experience this. And when you're looking down on that life, say, you know what? Yeah. All I left was everything I had to give, to serve, because that's what made me happy, and that existence. And that happiness is what set me to this point of freedom. And when we are at freedom, it's not that we have achieved a level, it's actually that we have recycled. And when we recycle back into the oneness, then we really say, all those things that I was lied about, not he was right that night. We were right. We were right when we said, we're going to release it now. And know that not only that I'm okay, it's okay, folks. It's okay. It's okay. Don't develop this don't give a what attitude. Start to experience life fully. Stand up straight, but lean forward and let your feet catch up. Find out what is waiting for you. You're not gonna discover at the beginning of this. We were talking about what is the purpose of your life. If you can only discover it, you're not going to discover it while you're dealing with all this other stuff. The only way you discover it is just to say, you know what? All the limitations I'm not going to pay attention to. I'm only going to focus on the results that I want in life, and I'm going to continue to go for that. I'm going to let everything else just go. And as it comes back in and it recycles around me and I can feel the fear and the anger, which is fear anyways, right? And just in a different dress. But when you feel that fear and you feel that anger and it's dancing inside your head, and then you feel the intelligence, an intelligent portion of fear called stress dancing through back all through there, and you're like, wait a second. No more. And you let all that go. When you let all that go, that's when you're going to feel something. And what you're feeling at that point in time, that total serenity and that peace, that's what you came here for, to create that feeling. That feeling is called life. You did not start your life on your first breath. And you're not going to end your life on your last breath. Life is actually something that you can only experience when you are truly internalizing what we're sharing with each other tonight. I'd like to hear and feel you. Maybe before we go there, if we would, just close your eyes one more time. I'm going to ask you to just get in another comfortable position where nothing is crossed. And I like it in nothing's crossed because life is nothing but electricity. And it flows through this shell. It comes from the mind, which is located just above the cranium, and goes through the brain and then down the spinal cord out to the body. And so it is nothing but electricity. So don't cross anything, so the electricity just flows through. And now just imagine you feeling not only the oneness coming through the top of your head, but as it comes to the top of your head, it bursts through every cell of your body and permeates outside of your shell. And it starts to go towards other people in this room. And it starts to go into other inanimate objects like your chair, your desk. It starts to go through the walls. You start to continue to expand into the surrounding nature, the trees, and you continue to expand into the waterways and into the atmospheres, and you continue to expand, and you're expanding smoothly, softly, but rapidly. You're expanding because you're infinite, and time doesn't exist with the infinite. And as you expand into the complete universe as one, now you know what you want to share. Now you know what you want to ask. Now you know. So take a deep breath and come back. And what's in your heart? What's in your heart? freedom. I love freedom. Strength. Whoa. I like how you said that. I like it. I felt that. Strength. Freedom. One and the same. What else? Any questions?
It's almost like it feels too good, so the guilt comes in, right?
It almost feels too good, so the guilt comes through.
Right?
I love it. That's why I'm laughing. Yes. That's the way we're programmed. That's the way we're programmed. Yes. Yes, exactly. Exactly. And this is exactly why we're meeting like this at this time and giving a piece of us and asking others to come. I mean, some of you are just, it's amazing. I just love you so much for reaching out to people and bringing others with you. I mean, this person has driven through rush hour traffic. And we're in Atlanta, so that's, you have to understand, Atlanta traffic is very unusual. It's true rush hour, and drove all the way on the other side of town to get her loving friend who she loves so much and bring her friend with her. Now that's, oh, I admire it, and I would love to say I would do that. But I don't know if I would. I know I could, but I don't know if I would. So I have to tell you, thank you for allowing me to do that through you. Wow, thank you. Oh, you're so wonderful. See, this is it. So bring more people with you. Bring someone with you. Just get on a path and say, you know what? There's someone. Don't be preoccupied with how they're going to receive this or reject it or whatever. That's not up to you. Just ask them, hey, come and just experience it. Why to come to experience it? Not to fill this up more or to have more viewers on here. And I'm asking you as well, get other people to tune in to Ustream.com. And we're going to start putting these in other places as well. But for right now, get them to tune into Ustream.com. And again, the reason is not so that I can have a greater audience. I don't really need that. To tell you the truth, it's been a long day, and I'm rather tired. But what I need is your energy. Don't you see that no matter where you were in the world tonight, you tied in with every single one of us, and every one of us tied in with you. That's unique. When we bursted out to the universe just now, we were one, not with each other. We were one with everything that ever was and ever will be. And that's why I'm asking you, bring someone. Let them not experience it, but become aware of it. Let them experience the strength of the freedom.
With no guilt.
With no guilt. Yes, yes, get rid of that. Get rid of that guilt. That's a terrible, if there is a terrible disease, that's a terrible disease. And yet, we are all programmed for that. So this is the time that we start to erase that, so that it goes away from this planet. As the guilt goes away, now we can evolve the way that we are supposed to. When we think of ancient civilizations like Atlantis, and there's other Atlantises, there wasn't only one Atlantis, there's other Atlantises as well, one in Japan and one in South America. But when we think of these places, what we're amazed with is not only their technology, but the highly evolved thinking that they had. And that highly evolved thinking consisted of basically freedom. They were free. They were free. I mean, according to Plato, there were people that were flying around, levitating. That's pretty free. Okay, it's pretty free. And but you can only experience things like that as you start to work with this. So we're really freeing this world as we're bringing other people together. So please, 6:30 Eastern time. Next Tuesday, we will be here. Okay. And in the meantime, I don't want to say goodbye. I never like to say goodbye because that's final. Goodbye. God, bye. Bye, God. No. I like to just say fare. Fare thee. Fare thee well. Fare thee well. Fare thee well until next Tuesday. Thank you. Thank you.